Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great morning.
Probably going to be a lengthy video. This is a historical moment, and it's one of the, you know, it's a huge, as Donald Trump would say, it's huge. We heard several years ago, of course, you know, that Randall McCoy got married, and Sheila and I questioned it. Mm-hmm. We wanted to see the records. We wanted to see the court records. Mm-hmm. Sheila and I obtained, there was a nice fella, one of our viewers, and he sent Sheila, he emailed her a court record.
Right.
And the court record was, would have been 1899, Pike County Court, and it would have been marriage licenses, mm-hmm. page 323. Now, Sheila and I haven't went to Pikeville Courthouse. Every time we get to Pikeville, it's either early in the morning, we go on to Blackberry or Hardy, yeah, or Mate One or wherever, but by the time we come back through, it's always late and the courthouse is closed. So we haven't verified this, but and we're so leery of photoshops and different things that people does, but mm-hmm. we believe this is correct.
Yeah.
And if it is correct, it's talking about the marriage of Randall McCoy and Hattie Sheffey.
Steffi.
S-T-A-F-F-E-Y.
Oh, is it A? I thought it was the E. Staffy.
Steffi, okay, maybe it is an E, babe. And says that it took place on July the 30th, 1899. 1899. Now, we know Sarah got beat in 1888. Mm-hmm. We know that she never fully recovered.
Correct.
Some say she went to a nursing home, and some say she died. Sheila found some other records where they're going over her estate, mm-hmm. and the sheriff of Pike County is actually representing her estate, and that was in 1898, I think it was. Mm-hmm. That would have been a year or two before Randall had gotten married again. Now let's talk about this, because when it first happened, first thing we got to understand is in Pike County at one time, well, Pike County and Mingo County, West Virginia. Okay. At one time there was at least 4 different Randall McCoys.
Yep.
What Sheila and I have found funny throughout the years is that, you know, if it pertains to Randall McCoy's Civil War records, his haters, they say, oh no, that was another Randall McCoy. Yeah. If it pertains to something bad, then it's, oh no, without a doubt, that's the Randall McCoy. We try not to do that. Again, we want true history. We don't care if it's good, bad, and the ugly on any of them. We just want the history. So someday when we're gone, and guys, it's so confusing, it's so sad that there's people out there. It's like, I read a thing the other day, and I don't want to get into politics, but it said, do you hate this man so bad that you would do this to your country or something like that? And that's what it seems like with Randall McCoy, or especially Randall McCoy. Mm-hmm. You know, Devil Anse Hatfield turned out to be a hero during all this, and everybody was afraid to call his hand or say anything because of the repercussion of his groupies. But nobody's ever come to investigate or the defense of Randall McCoy to see what's true and what's not. It was just automatically, he's at fault, he's a loser, he's this, he's that. We don't care either way. We just want the history. Right. But these people have rewritten history. Some of these authors, Altina Waller, mm-hmm. Tom Dodson, some of that copied off of, I seen where one author was putting down Otis Rice and Dean King a while back, and I'm thinking, but he's bragging on Altina Waller. Altina Waller says that she copied off of Otis Rice's book. Otis Rice wrote his book way back. She wrote her book in 1988. He wrote his book in 2016. But I'm getting off topic. She's looking at me.
Now, who wrote your book in 2016?
This guy here.
Oh, okay.
The guy that was talking
Oh,
so
okay.
bad
I was confused. Okay.
about Dean King and Otis Rice. He said they didn't do no research. But Altina says she done 10 years of research. And I always say, I wish she'd put some of it in her book.
Correct.
Because actually she didn't. Actually she copied off of Otis Rice. And when she was caught up in a mistake, something that was incorrect, she said, well, Otis Rice had a PhD. I thought he would know. Well, she's supposed to have a PhD also. You'd think she'd do her own research.
Gotcha. Sorry.
But this gentleman he hates Randall McCoy so bad, and it purely shows, you know, I have hatred for Devil Anse Hatfield. But to this day, and please prove me wrong, I challenge everybody, to this day, I've never made anything up about him. Everything that we show is his Civil War records, his photos, his height, everything that we show is with proof. I don't like him because he's a murderer. He hid out. I was a police officer for 40 years, and this man hid out. He evaded the law for all these years. And then Pike County, you know, I made a video a while back and I said, looks like Pike County Tourism would put all the Hatfields and McCoys, cover all the Hatfields and McCoys. I mean, in Kentucky. Pike County Tourism covers Pike County, Kentucky, not Make Creek, West Virginia, Make One, Logan County, not Devil Anse Hatfield. Devil Anse Hatfield was a murderer. And they put a monument of him up on Blackberry of a murderer that was wanted for murder when he went to his grave. And we are so far off topic before we start.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. We were talking about
this gentleman has changed the course of history with Randall McCoy, and he's not a leader. Well, he said, show me one place where they led. We did videos on this.
Right.
He led the men to Louisville, Kentucky when they took the 9 prisoner. Randall McCoy led them to Louisville, Kentucky, him and Jim McCoy. There was 2 of them. He led them to Grapevine. He led them to Jim Vance's. He was there when Jim Vance was killed. He was there that day. And they say didn't have no support from his family. Well, goodness sakes, everybody in his family was named on that governor's list that the West Virginia governor tried to put out as a warrant so he'd have some leverage. We're talking about Devil Anse. She's looking at me.
Okay.
We're talking about Randall McCoy's marriage to Hattie.
Right.
Sheffey.
Yeah.
Guys, from what Sheila and I can find out, you know, there was a gentleman a while back, and he said that he found some records on Ancestry that proved that Randall McCoy had married when he was 73 years old and the girl was 17.
Right.
Now, first of all, Ancestry, if you a member of Ancestry, if you've had a DNA and they've listed you on there, you can add any kind of photographs, you can add anything you want. It's not as bad as Find a Grave. You have to at least be a member and register and so forth like that. But it's not hard to put photographs or anything like that, like these certificates on the front, on Ancestry. Now, this gentleman says he found his information on Ancestry. And we'd like to know who posted it on Ancestry. Who had this marriage license and this marriage certificate? Who has had those all these years? Look how good they look. They're not crinkled up, and it's probably correct.
Okay.
One of them is the witness, Mel McCoy.
Yep. Yeah.
Melvin, little Melvin. That's who he was staying with at the end when he died. He was with Melvin McCoy. That's his grandson that he pulled out of the house that night and sent to safety after he fired the last 2 barrels of his shotgun as the Hatfield gang was riding off, when he shot Cap and John C. in the shoulders and back. That's Melvin McCoy, is what we're thinking. And on this subpoena here to the side, when he was going through a divorce with Hattie, is that is this ain't it? Is this is law office? Sam McCoy.
Sam McCoy.
There is Sam McCoy being subpoenaed. Now, Sheila and I have had some discussion on that. Is he been subpoenaed by the defense, or has he been subpoenaed by the plaintiff? Is he been subpoenaed by Randall, or Hattie. Now, this gentleman writes into history and he says, Randall McCoy was mean to her. She said he was mean. She said he was this, that. We haven't seen that in no court document. See, this is a court document right there.
Yeah.
That's a court document.
Right.
We like that. But we haven't seen no testimony. We haven't seen no deposition.
No.
This is what this man speaks in the history. Randall was rough on her. He talked mean to her. And he says even his son testified against him. Did he? Did he? Is his son there because he's been subpoenaed by Hattie, hoping he'll say something derogatory against his dad? Or is he been subpoenaed by Randall, his father, on his behalf to say, hey, not thinking clearly, I was persuaded, I was, to tell his father's mental state? We don't know. We don't know. Isn't it funny that this gentleman says that Sam was there to testify against his dad? Randall McCoy's got 2 children buried beside him and Sarah up there on that graveyard.
Yeah.
Who are they, Sheila?
Well, Rosanna is right next to him.
Yeah.
But then Sam is like around the corner.
Sam and Sam's wife, Martha, is right around the corner. Buried right there with Randall and Sarah on the same graveyard. And that brings up a point. I may have it down through here somewhere. There it is. Why didn't Trudy and McCoy, Virginia Baird, or Leonard Roberts write about this? It's never mentioned. Martha McCoy, Sam's wife, wrote in her own handwriting things that had happened and gave the notes to Trudy McCoy when she was doing the book. Martha McCoy never mentioned to Trudy and McCoy that Randall McCoy had gone on and got married, got divorced, had a child, at least one child. Well, how is that? This Leonard Roberts, this one author that's so bad to badmouth poor old Randall, he's so bad, he's got such a distaste for him, and he's actually related to Randall McCoy.
Yeah.
But he's more related to the Hatfields, so he'd rather take up for the Hatfields. Why do we have to take up for anybody? You'd be a whole lot better historian if you call it like you see it. Because one day, the people's going to be proven wrong on a lot of things. And they won't be here to come back and bullcrap people and say, well, this, and this, when the truth comes out.
Yeah.
Leonard Roberts, that was one of this guy's heroes. He thinks Leonard Roberts knew it all, and all he done was copy Virginia Baird and Trudy McCoy's notes. Why didn't nobody mention Randall McCoy was married? Why is these certificates in such a good shape? Why are they all in the same handwriting? That's just questions I would ask. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, because this court document here tells me and Sheila that it did. That Randall McCoy was actually married. Now, did he get married because he was in love and this and that, or did he get married at 73 because he's got dementia? There's people I see at 38 years old, they get stricken with dementia.
Yeah, young people get it.
He's 73. Who was in Pike County Clerk's office on July the 29th? Who was the clerk in Pike County, July the 29th, 1899? Who signed that over there? Whose name is on that marriage license? Who was W.J. Phillips?
Clerk, yeah, he's the clerk.
Somebody asked, why is there 2 certificates? That's not 2 certificates. One is a marriage license. The other is a marriage certificate. One they obtained saying they want to get married, and then the next day they got married.
Yeah.
Marriage license is on July the 29th. They got married on July the 30th. Where's the census records for 1899 that shows he was married? Somebody says, got a census record, 1899. Now, we've got a couple of census records here. She'll show after a while. But that's with Randall McCoy's children.
And Sarah.
And Sarah and so forth. Then they said they seen another census record where in 1900, they were separated, him and Hattie. Says they think they had one child. this guy says, I believe it was a girl. Well, why didn't you investigate? You found this on, got ready to say Amazon. You found it on Ancestry. I've been on Amazon this morning. You can tell. I believe it was a girl, he said. And then he says later they divorced.
Yeah.
Guys, we found this very interesting. We, again, this came out several years ago. We did a video on it. Did a couple of videos way back in our stash. Now, let's go on. You know, this gentleman the other day, he says that Randall and Hattie had a child.
Yeah.
Well, it says here, Ellen McCoy Gross,
G-R-O.
Sheila has been looking at this. She may have to help here, but it says that they had a daughter.
Yeah.
And they even got a death certificate, something for her, but she died, I'm thinking around 1970 or something like that. 1970 at age 69.
Okay.
That was the daughter that's supposed to be in, and it says parents is Hattie, Sheffey, and Randall McCoy. And this is on Find a Grave, guys.
Yeah.
This is on Find a Grave.
Yeah.
This is where this other gentleman went on there and he wrote a novel. He put in every opinion he's ever had, and people reads that. I don't do that. Sheila and I write books.
Yeah.
We write books. There they are. But we don't go on these things that people's going to read, and because somebody else can come in there right behind them and write something else, and then you're just in a keyboard. You're a keyboard Rambo. Sit there and write and feel good about yourself for a minute, and we put ours in a book where it's there, and we're on our 5th edition. That means that throughout the years we made mistakes, we made corrections, we found out something else that we wanted to add. That's mine. I feel my butt jingling when it goes off.
Okay.
But this Ellen McCoy supposedly is Randall McCoy and Hattie's daughter. And it's the only child they had, from what we can find out. Now, as you're reading Find a Grave, now you got to understand Find a Grave, Wikipedia, you got to understand that anybody can go in there and put whatever they want to. Remember, we've shown you that. Jim Vance. Nobody even knew where Jim Vance was buried until this 1997 when they started trying to redo tourism, and they're going to start promoting the Hatfield-McCoy feud. And they say, hey, let's say Jim Vance is buried here. Let's put a little monument here. If we're going to have tourism, we've got to have, I almost knocked your candle off.
Yeesh.
If we're going to have tourism, we've got to have something for people to see. So they said, here's Jim Vance's grave. Then they come up, they say, here, let's get Jim Vance a Civil War. Jim Vance wasn't in the Civil War. He never served in the Civil War, but they got him a Civil War monument now. And one of the certificates, one of the old records they use is Vancey, V-A-N-C-E-M-Y, something like that. But if you look at it, V-A-N-C, you think, oh, and that's how people was fooled. They didn't know. Then next thing you know, they come up on Find a Grave and they had a picture of Jim Vance. Picture of Jim Vance. We tracked it down, offered a reward. Gentleman didn't even take the reward. He just told us who it was. Ken did.
Yep.
He'd seen that down at the Alabama Museum, seen it on a TV show of that picture that they used as Jim Vance. It's actually an unidentified soldier from Alabama, was in the Alabama Civil War. It's amazing what you can do on these pages and what people says.
Right.
Now the question here is, the next category, because on Ellen's Find a Grave here, it says that she had a sister. Not a half-sister, but a sister. And it says that her name is Maggie McCoy Compton.
Yep.
And it says that her dad is Randolph McCoy, and she was born in 1890. 1890. Randolph McCoy in Alifair, Copley. And guys, how easy it is to show. Here's Randall McCoy sitting there, and they've added his picture to this. Now, is this not Randall McCoy's another child of his? Sheila and I don't know. See, there's some things we just don't know. Here's a death certificate for her.
Yeah.
Her father was Randolph McCoy.
Yeah.
Her mother was Alifair Copley. Copley. Is it the same Randall McCoy? Again, he could have been an old stud. We'll just brag on him, say, hey, man, what a man. I don't believe it. I think that I think people add a lot of things, and that's the sad part of this. I wish we did know. I wish we did know whether, is this his child? It ain't that it couldn't have happened. He could have had another one in 1890. He could have married her in 1899. Sarah, so Sarah was either deceased around 1890, somewhere in there, or she was in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Or Rose, she was at the house and Rosanna was taking care of her. Again, there's some things in history that even family members don't know. Now, you can write it into history, you can speak it, you can say it and hope that people believe it, or you can be like Sheila and I and just say some things is not known.
Right.
Right, babe?
Right, I agree, totally.
Some things are just not known. That don't mean we have to fill in the blanks or make them up if we don't, because later on in life, something may show up with proof.
Yeah, and there, like you said earlier, there were different Randalls. There were 4 different Randalls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
There was even one in West Virginia.
Randall had a cousin, didn't he? Named
And,
Randall.
Guys, it's some things it's just not meant to understand.
Right.
Or, but Randall McCoy, Sheila and I are with the understanding that Randall McCoy probably did. Like I said, this has been, this ain't no new news. This has been out for probably 2 or 3 years, that we know of. And in the beginning, we doubted it.
Right.
We doubted it.
Well, sure.
We seen that court
sense.
record on the document where they got their marriage license, and it says Pikeville, and it's in Pikeville.
Right.
We believe that. But there's so many other questions that people go with ancestry, as far as somebody just put a certificate on. Those certificates, who kept that for all these years? Randall or Hattie, excuse me. Who's had that? Who's had it pressed out where it's not even wrinkled, not even damaged, not even aged?
Yeah, it's not worn.
I don't trust, and written in the same signature. Everything's the same. See, be leery. Be leery. So, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at on Randall. And what are you laughing at? We still don't
make a good point.
We still don't want to say it's for real, because we hate to be wrong, and we hate for somebody else to come out later on and say, no, it didn't happen. It was this Randall McCoy. This is the Randall. That'd be a great find for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
This was a different Randall McCoy. This was out of the Johns Creek Randall McCoy. This was from the West Virginia Randall. This is...
Yeah.
But from what it looks to Sheila and I, this is probably Randall McCoy. Other than that, no need dragging it out.
It's good. Case closed.
You know, as far as Maggie...
It keeps webbing out. It's
well, that's the way stories in history goes. But this Maggie McCoy Compton, that's a new one, because is that really Randall McCoy's daughter, or is that another Randall McCoy in 1890? We don't know. We don't know.
It's all good.
Huh?
It's all good.
Guys, I would say there's a couple of books out there, a couple of authors, and that's what's happened to people over the years, between poor old Thomas Dodson, Altina Waller. We know Lisa Alter. We know a lot of these authors just wanted to put a book out and say the author.
Good morning, guys. We hope you're having a great morning. This is Fred and Sheila McCoy with Hatfield McCoy Museum and Adventures. Today we are going to talk about or follow up on Randall McCoy and Hattie Sheffey. We had talked about it earlier, as you've seen in the video, and we had asked some people if you're out in Pike County, down that way, if you could run in and check it out for us. Well, we decided we would go ahead and go to Pike County. We stayed all night in Pikeville and got up next morning, and we went over to the courthouse. The courthouse, guys, is where they tried Cotton Top. The old courthouse. That is really cool. And so we went there and we went into the marriage records and stuff. Talked to the sweetest lady there. She was real sweet. We found the book, believe it or not. It was book 31. Now I'll add the pictures in at the end so you can see it. It was book 31, page 332 or 233?
323 maybe?
323, thank you.
I'm trying to find it.
320, yeah.
But you'll have it at the back.
It's right here at the top.
Okay.
323.
Okay.
And if you look right down here, it does say Randall McCoy and Hattie Sheffey.
Probably can't see it for the glare, but you'll have a close-up.
But I will have a close-up. And
there's a picture of Sheila. If you don't care, put these pictures of you researching there too while you're at it.
okay, I'll just add them at the end.
Yeah.
We both did it.
Well,
But the lady was really nice. She told us what you have to do is she gave us a piece of paper and she said, look through here, and when you find it, copy down what you want, and then she'll go find it for us. Well, we found this in that book, but then we wanted to see about the marriage license and stuff and the certificate. So we had to pull out book L through M. And when you walk into the records room, I'll call it, you go straight back there to where there's a little side door, and on this side, the left side, if you look down there, there's books labeled A, B, C, and all that. Get book L through M. It's about the third or fourth book down. And if you open it up, and then if you look down, they've got an index, and you can look for McCoy, and it tells you what pages, and you can turn to it. Sure enough, she wrote it down, and here it is. There is the marriage license and the certificate, which we will add at the end. And we were wondering, how is that in such good condition? Because, I mean, you figured it would be old, because she said some of the stuff that she has looked at, when you go to pull it out, it just kind of crumbles. It's so old. And I was a little bit nervous, because I thought, ooh. But she went over to it, looked it up. She opened it up, put it on the copier, made us a copy. Sweet as she could be, very helpful. Then we got two surprises that I really love. She asked me, she said, would you like to see Randall and Sarah McCoy's certificate? I said, are you kidding? And she said, sure. So she went and looked it up. But guys, it's not like Hattie's and them's there. Sarah's and Randall's was written out. This is their actual wedding.
you gonna put a copy of that maybe at the back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Isn't that cool though? Look at that. That is awesome. And then she asked me, would you like to see Frank and Nancy's marriage certificate? And I said, well, heck yeah. And look here. There's Frank and Nancy's.
Interesting.
So, Randall McCoy was married to Hattie Sheffey. Okay, would you like to add anything?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Sheila wasn't satisfied with our research.
Right.
We've seen too many things photoshopped and things, and we're against that. So we like to look at it ourselves. Now, we didn't want to make a trip to Pike County. We just been up there a week or so ago to mow the graveyards, but
yeah, funerals and
we went back, and Sheila went in there, and she'll show all the books and the information on them, where you can find it at. Mm-hmm. And so now we know for a fact. You don't have to look it up. We did for you, but like we encourage everybody to do, it's still good to go look it up yourself, and that way you know that we're not just telling you something. And we're not. It's in the books, and they were married. Now, we go back to the first part of this video where I'm talking, and we're not even sure on any of this stuff yet. We're thinking, well, it could be Photoshop.
Right.
Well, it's not. It's for real. Randall McCoy and Hattie was married. Now, let's go back to the reason they were married, and that's in the video. Was it dementia? Was it a young girl looking for a man that already had a home and some valuables and stuff like that? So we'll never know. We'll never know that part. But Randall McCoy was married, and Sheila did get a copy of his and Sarah's marriage license, which is written out. She's going to put that in the book, at the back of the video, rather. And Frank and Nancy's marriage certificate. You know, some people says that Frank and Nancy never got married. They just lived together. Some people said, well, they was in bigamy because she never got divorced from Johnsy and so forth like that. Well, there's their marriage license. So that proves that wrong. If you don't care, put that other paper. We took a picture of a book while we were there that I found interesting.
Okay.
It's like the Perry Klein wheel, where he wheels his slaves to Perry and Jacob and so forth like that. And you know, it's until you see something like that in written form, you know, them days is long gone. But those days were there at one time. And they've got a separate book there, and it's listed Negroes and some
Mulattoes.
Mulattoes, which a mulatto is mixed.
Interracial.
Interracial. Thank you, baby. That's a good word. Half each, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But they had a book there for marriage license in Pike County where people was interracial or Negroes, and that's where their marriage license would have been at. So it was real interesting. We started to do Frank Waller, was it? And his wife and so forth, but we have to do that on another time. We was also wanting to run a couple of other errands while we were there. Yeah. And so we had a good visit back up in Pike County. Got that taken care of. Sheila will close this video out and put all the information at the end. So hopefully you stay through the video from the beginning to the end, because this is how things change. Rather than go back and making a whole complete new video, we just figured, hey, add the new stuff on at the end where it is, and it is what it is.
That's right. Well, that's all you can do. So thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed our video. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks, guys.